Hello, you wonderful people, and welcome to another episode of Not Too Comic Book. This week's show, we talk about TV shows that are adaptations of comic books. For today's episode, I'm going to talk about Harley Quinn Season 5, Episode 6. Great episode. A lot of really interesting things went down in this episode, so let's break it down. So, picking up after last episode, Lena and Harley, I thought that was going to be a bigger part of the episode, and it's not. I thought that was so interesting of like, okay, we're going to work together to figure out this whole thing that's going on in Metropolis. I thought that's what it was going to be. And it's like, well, they immediately steered away from that before we even got to the title card. Because Lena's like, okay, Woodrow's murder's got to have something to do with this. But Harley's like, no, that doesn't have anything to do with it. Like, that was just me and Ivy murdering Woodrow. It's like, well, to be fair, Ivy murdered him first, but then you both kind of worked together to kind of murder him again, but still. And then Lois. I hope I haven't been saying Lena beforehand. If I have, I meant Lois, but Lois is like, wait, what? It's a report. She's a journalist. She just heard a big thing like that. She's like, especially because she in her mind is connecting the two dots of like all the strange stuff that's happening in Metropolis, even though they literally walked past one of the city robots, literally vaporizing a dude just for every little infraction. I forgot what it was that he actually did. There's that one guy, which it was super effed up. He ended up sneezing in someone's face as he was walking by, and he gets vaporized, and the lady just kind of almost like, and just keeps walking like it was nothing, like no one's like raising any alarms and stuff. I'm also thinking to myself, I'm like, that's not some like, I'm thinking too much. Like, it almost feels like, because that was a joke in the Suicide Squad that literally Harley says of like, if you sneeze without covering your mouth, we will kill you. And even Rick Flag Jr. was like, actually, that is kind of messed up. Like, don't do that. That's gross. Or something like that. So I was like, I didn't even think about that at the time. But I was like, yeah, that's kind of that's a joke from the Suicide Squad. Because she was saying that to the Thinker about all the things that you do this, we'll kill you. We'll do that, we'll kill you. But anyway, I just thought about that. But yeah, Lena's trying to run it, but Harley's just like, no, you're not even really a journalist. All the stuff you're doing, like running about, about Clayface and everything, because he's kind of taken priority, obviously, because he's Perry in disguise, whatever the case may be. I mean, not maybe it is what it is, but obviously, it's so interesting because Lois wants to act like, oh, she's this great journalist. I mean, talking about Lois in this particular regard, not even realizing her boss has been replaced by a giant clay monster. But the fact is that, once again, she came across a big scoop, so it's right for her to run it. But also at the same time, like I said, she's connecting dots that aren't necessarily connected. But the fact is that she got super pissed the moment Harley brought up, because like Lois keeps bringing up the fact that she's a Pulitzer winner and everything, and so Harley brings up her fake neck. I guess it's that she's had work done on her neck, and she proceeds to punch Harley, and then Harley kind of has a breakdown later in front of Frank and Ivy, because she's like, oh, like I won this non-musical role in this musical of like The Sound of Music. It's like, oh, who did you play in it? It's like, oh, like since it was a non-singing part, you must not have played Maria. It's like, no, I played the Hills. It's like, the Hills were alive, so like, oh, it was an important part. And Ivy's like, see, yeah, we know how important they are. See, Frank, that's messed up from doing that. And he's like, no, I'm not the one that made Harley cry. You are. He's like, because she's like, yeah, the Hills, they must have been, they're so important. Frank's like, you haven't even seen them, have you? And she's like, shut up, Frank. And it's like, I get it, you're trying to be very consoling to your girlfriend, but it's still, I love that back and forth, especially Frank trying to make Ivy seem worse. And it's like, see, you're the reason why Harley's crying, not me. But Harley's like, it doesn't have anything to do with you guys. It's just, and she kind of like gets very serious, and it's kind of like, oh, that's dark. She's like, that play meant so much to her because it was her way of kind of escaping her family. Because she's like, yeah, like my mom and dad every day were trying to kill each other, so it was kind of my escape from reality. I was like, oh, that's dark. That's that's trauma like rearing its ugly head. So that's why it's so important to her, and just to kind of have that trivialized is very heartbreaking how that was so important to her. And so she confronts Clayface because Lois ran the story and claimed that Harley was 48. And so she ends up confronting quote unquote Perry, but being like, I know it's you, Clayface. He's like, what? She's like, either you like listen to me or I'm going to tell everyone here the truth about you. He's like, how'd you see through it? She's like, your stupid voice, you calling it a Pulitzer. You know, it's like, I know you. She's like, I've spent enough time with you and your stupid acts that I see through you. I mean, I almost wanted her to be super meta about it and be like, well, your teeth never change. That's the thing about his disguise is his teeth never change. He never, I think, maybe, I'm trying to even remember. The one time he got sucked into a role was the role of Stephanie back in season 2. And I don't remember if his teeth were fixed in that regard. I think that might be one of the few instances his teeth was fixed. But every other time he takes on the form of someone else, I guess, like I said, I don't remember. His teeth might have been jacked up as Stephanie too, and it's been a hot minute, so I might not be remembering, but it's kind of like, yeah, get Lois to retract that story, and then he forces her hand, and Lois is just, I like how conceited she is in this. She's like, I am, and everyone's like, yes, we get it. You want a Pulitzer. Just shut up. It's like, she must go on and on and on and on about that because she feels the need, you know, the validation of like, this is what I did. This is what I accomplished. But it's like, fine. You want, like, she's like, I know there's some catastrophe coming towards Metropolis. And if you're not going to like, help me uncover it, fine. I quit the Daily Planet. And just, it's like, oh, that's kind of taken care of. Then we cut to Lena and Brainiac, and Brainiac's kind of like, I should have just killed Ivy and Harley because now like they're like the perfection of Metropolis is tanking more and more because of them. But Lena's like, no, they need to be fine. Like they're the only thing that's fun. And I'm like, and even then, because Brainiac's like, why are you so intent on keeping them around? And I thought like, is that it? Because you need a little chaos like in your life, and maybe it's just because she legitimately just likes Harley and Ivy, and it's just like, oh, I need some chaos like that, you know, because it's like you two might, I don't know if she wants them by her side as she, because her plan is like, right, I want to rule Metropolis. Once you've bottled it, I can be queen. But it's like, how does that work for you when you're queen of a bottled city? Like, what does that do for you, you know? Because it's like, yeah, you're going, but I guess it's like, in perpetuity and in perpetually, like you'll be stuck in that situation ruling over. Like I said, maybe like if things are going to be so perfect and stuff and stuck like that, you want a little, like I said, X factor being Harley and Ivy. But yeah, she kind of got pissed with Brainiac's like propensity to be like, oh, I'm going to make this perfect, and he kind of suggesting he can do it on his own. But she's like, you wouldn't be able to do anything on your own. You're over here listening to Coco. You're crazy. The fact of the matter is this monkey is dead. He's like, no, Coco's not dead. She goes over, starts pulling off a piece of Coco. I was like, oh, if he's not dead, where am I throwing these bones from, huh? And then he proceeds to kick her off the ship. And what does she do? She runs to Perry White and ends up telling him, Bane, and Harley the truth. And it's like, why are you telling us? It's like, well, I need you guys to step up to save the world because you got the power to press, and that's more powerful than any superhero. So what are they going to do about it? It's like, rather than running the story in the newspaper, I mean, you lost your number one journalist, but there's other people there too. But, you know, what do? You're going to turn it into a theater play and then eventually a musical, which immediately my brain goes, is this supposed to be like kind of a wink and nod and just kind of like, I might be getting too in my own head about it because I'm connecting it to like Joker Folie à Deux. To be fair, it wouldn't be, you know, it's just like obviously Harley's, you know, that's a jukebox musical, even though I've never seen it, but I know that is a musical, and I'm like, maybe that information was probably known during the production of this season, so it could be a wink and nod to that, or it could just be me. But it's just like, oh, you know, funny enough, there was a musical live action movie with Harley in it, and then you have like a animated musical with a Harley in it. I don't know. Like I said, I might be reading too much into it. I mean, it's not like that's the only DC musical related thing. Like on the big screen, yes. On the small screen, they did stuff like, I want to say Doom Patrol had one or two musical episodes. I know there was like the Flash TV show and the Supergirl TV show had a crossover episode that was a musical. Obviously, it's not the best way to disseminate this story and this information, but it's, you know, once again, Ivy accepts it because she's like, this is Harley working through some trauma, so I'm trying to be as supportive I can, because this is very important to Harley, because she's like, everyone else around her is doing something. It's like all the stuff that Ivy's doing, and I talked about before, like, at least previously Harley had the Bat family, and now she's ever since like the Bat family fell apart, and then also then the Gotham Sirens fell apart. She's been wondering, like she's always been the one kind of little directionless sometimes and not knowing what she wants out of her life. So this is her kind of taking back a little bit more of like, oh, I can do this. It's so important to me. I'm going to be Lena, and I'm actually going to threaten anyone that's going to try and take the role from me. So she kind of blackmails Clayface into hiring her. I also love how she made a point of like, yeah, it's going to be such a big role because she even chews out Bane, who's writing the script. She was making the whole point of like how like, oh, it's not about the like actual words in the script, because he's like, no, I'm literally saying in the script verbatim what Lena said, and she's like, no, that's not what Lena would say. I'm not saying what Lena would say. I'm talking about what I would say in this performance, because like people don't care about like the words. All they care about is hot people and singing or something like that, is what Harley's saying. That's all people care about when it comes to plays. And so she's she's a drama queen when it comes to this. But once again, this is so intrinsic and important to her that it has to be perfect and goes the way she wants it to. But even then, like amongst of what we saw the play, we only saw Harley in one scene, and all she did was sing her name. So I was like, oh, interesting. So it's like, even though it's supposed, like Harley was coming at it like, oh, it's going to be about Lena, it is still a Brainiac musical. So that's why I was kind of confused. Not less some of, because obviously we didn't see the entire play, so maybe she had more scenes and more aspects to it. I mean, we do see later on there was an intermission, so we didn't get the second half of the story. So she's going to be probably more prevalent in the second half of it, but still. Poor Bane too, because he's catching all that flack, but he sees Betty and Goldilocks, and Goldilocks is holding up a sign saying, "I love you, Daddy." I was like, that's actually really sweet. That's just, it's just so cute. Bane the family man, you know, you're actually really like, little moments like that just remind you, just, man, I'm happy for you, Bane. That's kind of nice. You found love and you got a daughter and everything, and hopefully that doesn't get ruined in any shape or form or capacity. But either way, I also love that it's like, okay, what are the celebrities that are dead in this continuity? Because I'm like, I was trying to remember, isn't James Gunn dead in it? I know Howie Mandel is dead because they've referenced that this season. Now Andy Serkis is dead, which is ironic and funny considering obviously he's got a connection to the DC universe being Alfred in the Batman. Like I said, I want to say James Gunn. No, James Gunn might be alive. I think it's Billy Bob Thornton's the one that's, I think, yeah, Billy Bob Thornton's dead in this continuity, if I'm remembering correctly. But because of that, because I also love the whole thing of like they got Andy Serkis to play Coco, a monkey. It's like, oh, you're getting him to play another monkey. But now Frank is the one playing Coco. And for whatever reason, he sees a plant off stage and he starts jacking off in the middle of he's like, oh, good thing I brought my cum rack. I'm like, Jesus Christ, dude. Oh God. But yeah, jacking off in the middle of the play and everyone can see him clearly doing it. And even Clayface is like, what the hell are you doing? He's like, hey man, when the moment comes, the moment comes. Oh God. No pun intended with that, but yeah. I also appreciate the fact is, once again, Ivy being very supportive, but also loving it. Like, I think it wasn't even just her being supportive. I think it was her genuinely loving it. I mean, to be fair, the entire crowd was loving it. And Lena's like, no, they shouldn't be loving this. They should be afraid of, Brainiac. Because Ivy kept going on about, oh yeah, they're making him so sympathetic, which I was like, like I said, I don't know if that's meant to be some... I mean, those were criticisms they felt about the Joker movie in general, but also that's people's issues of like, you don't make villains sympathetic. It's also interesting timing too, because speaking of the Batman, you kind of make Penguin in the Penguin kind of sympathetic, but then they may go like, no, you know how that plays out. But I don't know, like, it's like, oh, don't make the villain sympathetic. They're a villain for a reason. So it feels like it's almost a commentary and meta-ness on that, but I don't know. But like I said, Ivy being so proud of not only Harley, but even like, oh my God, Frank is so good. Can you go, Frank? I'm so proud. I'm like, that's actually so sweet and beautiful. And as the play is going on, Brainiac is also watching it, and he's recognizing what's going on, and he's just like, what? They're trying to say I'm crazy. And he finally looks at Coco. He's like, oh my God, Coco, how long have you been dead? And he realizes like, wow, I have kind of gone insane. This whole situation with Metropolis isn't working. Coco's dead. Lena's gone, and I might actually be insane. And he's saying like, well, no one there will ever understand the pain of what I'm going through. It's like, well, I mean, there are people who would. I mean, even though he's not on planet right now, Superman would understand your circumstances because he's the last of his species too, and he knows what it's like to be alone, but he found love and found a home and was taken in by the kids and stuff like that. So I wonder, will they kind of tie that in or not? Because I mean, obviously Superman hasn't popped up since he's been off world. But I wasn't expecting the episode to end on the downer that it ended on. Like Frank gets killed, and you're like, wait, what? Where did that come from? At first I was like, did Lena do that? Because she left at that same time, but she came back being like, yo, what's going on? And then Brainiac was like, see, that's now they'll understand, because he sees how heartbroken Ivy is, especially because Ivy's trying to heal him. She's like, come on, Frank, stay away. He's like, I love you, Mom, and dies. You're like, oh my God, why did you like hit us with like a depressing ass ending like that? I mean, I was like, I guess like maybe the tragedy of like the musical, but I'm like, part of me wonders like, did Lena do that? Did he brainwash Lena to do that? Because she just happened to be she left for a bit at the same time that ended up happening. So I'm like, or did Brainiac go down there and do that himself? But I'm like, it feels like he had to like mind control Lena to do that. Like, who could have done that? And just to make Ivy feel what he felt because of the whole Coco of it all, feeling like, I mean, that was something Ivy was trying to bring a point to Lena as well, of like, oh yeah, like he must be so alone, like, it might be driving him crazy finding out that the only thing he's ever loved for the past couple centuries is been dead this entire time, and that he's actually kind of been insane the entire time. That's why I was like I said, I don't know. Like for him to say that makes it sound like Brainiac was behind it, him being like, oh, now you understand. But I'm also, like I said, Lena left at the same time, so not unless she's going to try and blame that on Brainiac just to kind of get them more on her side, because the play didn't work the way she wanted it. I mean, for one, she just wanted the information disseminated, but now it's like, oh, he's a supervillain, but now you've made him sympathetic. I mean, Lena is very much kind of like Lex in the fact that she is, I mean, I was about to say she's a control freak and she wants things to be what she wants them to be. She's very in control of it, but also at the same time, it is a thing of she's warning the world about Brainiac. To be fair, it's like, you are also complicit in it. You're like, I didn't know he was a supervillain initially, but when you found out he was a supervillain, you still kept going anyway because you were getting something out of it. And now it's like they're not disseminating the information the way you want to. Once again, I can understand how frustrating that is, but it's just like, I'm curious to see where that goes. And will they run back the Frank thing or not? Will they be like, no, he's permadead? Or will, Ivy like resurrect him or buy and like make a new Frank again? We'll see how this all plays out next episode. What the aftermath of this play in general, and what Brainiac's going to do now that he has officially now recognizes that he's insane, versus just being insane and not recognizing, because you'll think you're still in control and everything is fine, but now you know, like, oh, I'm not okay. I'm not sane. I'm actually crazy. We'll see how that all shakes up and plays out going forward. But really, that's all I want to talk about. Till the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day and goodbye.